Today for reading, we are going to stay with The Lady with the Lamp, Florence Nightingale, by Michael Green and illustrated by Kristen Sora. And we are going to be taking a look at how we can access the main idea and use key details in a text to help us understand what we read better. The main idea and the details are the big idea, or the reason that the author wrote the story, and the ideas, the events, the details that support that big idea. Good readers look for ways that authors organize their writing. By finding a big or the main idea and the specific details, readers can understand the main topic and the key details and tell the how, the what, the when, the where, or the why. Answer those big questions. And you'll be doing that in just a little bit when you take just a short quiz on The Lady with the Lamp, Florence Nightingale, to help you with those questions and also to help you review your vocabulary. Before we get started, I'm going to remind you that this is a biography. And a biography is the story of a person's life written by another person. And the author uses their understanding of this genre to write the words in a biography. A biography is written about a person by another person, so that's definitely true with this one. It tells important information about that person's life, and it reveals how the person talks, feels, and thinks about things, and this story definitely does that. The events are told in the order that they happened. Now, when the story starts, it talks about that she was born in 1820. So it starts from when she was a baby and it goes through her turning into an adult and how she became a nurse. And a biography also includes the most important events in her life. And the most important events in her life were definitely how she became a nurse and how her work as a nurse influenced lots of people. So let's take another look at The Lady with the Lamp. Long ago in 1820, a baby girl was born. Her parents named her Florence. Mr. and Mrs. Nightingale were very wealthy. Florence and her sisters grew up in a large house in England. Florence loved helping people in need. She knew she wanted to be a nurse when she grew up. Her parents were unhappy about that. They wanted her to marry a rich man. Women from families like Florence's did not become nurses. Now, the author uses some elements of biography right on these 2 pages. It's the first thing I notice about the biography is the story is written by someone else. It's the story of her life, and it starts at the beginning of her life, so it's going to go in order. It starts at the year of her birth, actually, in 1820. Young wealthy women stayed home and went to parties. Florence felt shy and awkward at parties. She felt more comfortable when helping others. Mr. and Mrs. Nightingale told Florence she could not become a nurse. But Florence was stubborn. She left her home to go to Germany. There, she went to school to become a nurse. Okay, so good readers are going to look for the main idea as they read. The main idea on these pages is that Florence went to school to become a nurse, even though it wasn't so easy to do. The details of these pages give more information about the main idea. Like on page 14, we learn that going to school to become a nurse was not easy. The author gives details that tell us that Florence was expected to go to parties, but she didn't feel comfortable there. She had a strong desire to help other people. And on page 15, we learned that her parents didn't want her to become a nurse at all. That's another difficulty she'll have to overcome. She stayed focused on her goal, and she left home to go to Germany. This detail tells us where she went to school. She went to school in Germany, and Germany is a different country than she lived in before. Florence returned to England and began her work as a nurse. In 1854, England went to war. They fought in a place called Crimea. The soldiers needed medical care, but not enough supplies or nurses were available. Florence gathered many other nurses to help these men. The sick and injured soldiers stayed in very dirty rooms. Florence showed the army how to properly clean the rooms. She and the other nurses took care of the soldiers. More soldiers lived because they received good care. Okay, so as we read these 2 pages, I can identify the main idea. The main idea is that Florence began her work as a nurse. And these 2 pages tell details about her early work as a nurse when she just started being a nurse. She began work as a nurse in England. Florence Nightingale gathered many other nurses to go and help soldiers that were fighting a war. And then Florence Nightingale showed the army how to properly clean the rooms. She and other nurses took care of the soldiers. And while we're on this page, let's talk about the vocabulary words that are there. They fought in a place called Crimea. So your vocabulary word is place.
Place. An area or location. My favorite place is the park. There are trees and a lake. Place.
So place is an area or location. An area or location. This area or location was called Crimea. That's where the war was. And then over on page 17, it says Florence showed the army how to properly clean the rooms. Properly is your vocabulary word.
Properly. Done in the correct way. Russell's mom showed him how to properly wash his hands. He learned to wash in the correct way. Properly.
All right, properly means something is done in the right way or the correct way. And in the picture, the boy was being shown how to properly wash his hands, which is a good thing to know these days, right? All right, let's move on to pages 18 and 19. At night, Florence walked among the injured. She carried a lamp so she could see them. The soldiers were grateful for her. They called her the Lady with the Lamp. She taught others about the importance of clean water, fresh air, and supplies. Keeping patients warm and dry in cold weather helped too. She also felt that light was healthier than darkness. All right, let's see. The author used information about the genre biography to write The Lady with the Lamp. As I read page 18, I see why the Lady in the Lamp is included in the title, because that's what the soldiers called her, right? And they were thankful for her care. On page 19, we learn what Florence thinks. Now remember, a biography can tell what a person thinks about something. She thought clean water and air and supplies were important, and she also thought that light was healthier than darkness. Florence wrote about her work. She wanted to continue to help the sick and injured by teaching others how to properly care for them. Many people who want to learn about nursing read her books. Above all, Florence believed in treating sick or injured people with kindness. The Lady with the Lamp became an example for nurses everywhere. So, the author states the main idea in the last sentence on page 21. The Lady with the Lamp became an example for nurses everywhere. And on page 20, we learned that she wrote books about her work, right? So that other people could learn the things that she was using to care for the sick and injured people. She shared her belief that you treat people with kindness, right? And all these details give more information and they support the idea about Florence Nightingale being an example for nurses everywhere. All right, so we are finished reading The Lady with the Lamp, and I'm going to let you go so that you can take your quiz. It'll have a little green puzzle piece on Schoology. That'll be your quiz, and it'll just help you answer some of the who, what, when, where, and why questions, and also practice your vocabulary.